Welcome back to The Gloves Are Off. It is time for us to continue on with Dump and Change. First up to discuss here, I want to talk about this NHL sponsorship deal with Molson and Coors. Now, we're talking about a $375 million deal. Whatever it is, there's a confliction here with Labatt, pre-existing negotiations, all that garbage. But what I want to talk to you both about is, what is your take on alcohol sponsoring these sort of family-oriented sporting events? Do you think that there's a place for alcohol sponsorships, or where would we be without it? What's your stand on this one? You're keeping tight lips, so you don't want to be able to go to a game and not get a beer. That's what it is.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, we all like to go and enjoy a beer, and sometimes when it's just a group of guys going or with your spouse, it's an adult event. So who's to say it's a family event every time you go? I know kids play hockey and you take them to lots of these games, but there's lots of times when you do want it available, or it's nice to have it. So it certainly makes the buildings around here. I've been through a lot of buildings through Stanley Cup finals, etc., and the alcohol consumption goes up and the fans get wilder.
Then we know what happened too with that. I think it was LA Dodgers Giants game where you've got fans beating each other to pulps. Is that, I mean, I'm not sure if you have kids or not. I know that Bill does, but does that ever worry you when you take your family to a sporting event? Is that ever in the back of your mind? Like, is this a reason is there a greater cause for concern?
Well, there's always going to be those type of people that overreact to games and different things like that. I think hockey's got its own passionate crowds, but I mean, we don't have that European soccer type mentality. I mean, it's unfortunate the Dodger, San Francisco incident. But alcohol is in our society, good or bad. It's our job as parents to promote it in a positive light to our kids. The money that we're speaking here, I mean, that helps a lot of franchises be successful, and without that bottom line, some teams might not be successful.
Yeah. Okay, I want to move on and talk about a team that has been successful so far. A new team, the Winnipeg Jets. Their season seats sold out 17 minutes from being available online. Are you surprised, and do you think that this is a sign that the Jets are going to be successful no matter what?
I think it gets them a great start.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that success leads to on-ice success. They're certainly going to have a rabid fan base for a couple of years. As those bills start to tally up and the novelty wears off in a couple of years of no playoffs, maybe it's hard to say. We'll see where that fan base is then, but you never know.
Were you surprised at the sellout?
Not really surprised. I guess the marketing guys should be fired right off the bat. If they sold out in 2 minutes and then they had 15 minutes processing, I mean, how much more money could they have got for the season tickets? That's what I'm thinking. I mean,
you're such a critic.
You're talking like the accountant.
I'm starting to talk like the accountant, being around Scotty that much. But I mean, it's good. It's good for hockey to be back. I mean, if you're like you talked, listen to Braden there. He said playing in Atlanta when he was there as an opposition is pretty dreary and dead. I mean, there's no one in the building. Friends were down in Atlanta last year, and they said you could walk up and get tickets and no problem.
Yeah.
There's hardly anybody in the building.
Or you go to Florida and you get tickets to a Panthers game and a Happy Meal, right?
Right. Yeah. And so I mean, it's good for Canada hockey. I mean, will I be in Winnipeg to watch them? No. I mean, I'm not sure what brings a person to Winnipeg, but I mean, it's good for Canadian hockey. It's sold out. There's 15,000 people there guaranteed for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
But I mean, with that smaller rink and their payroll, are they going to be able to compete? Even with the salary cap era, I mean, are they going to be able to compete with the other teams?
I want to talk about one more thing before we have to take another break. I want to talk about some zebras here, the refs, the officials. I want to ask both of you what you think about this. This came up on a TSN website. Do you think that officials should be available to the media after the game to ask questions and justify their calls or anything like that? Would you want the chance to interview a ref after the game?
I don't think so. I mean,
no?
I think the media they've got so much. Cameras are on absolutely everything. We have the benefit of replay, slow motion, taking things into context, seeing it afterwards. I watched some plays last night. The first hook and call in the game last night happens at Mach 1 with somebody coming down in, and we said, what's the penalty there? And when you watch it in slow mo, they got it right. It was a hook, and it was so quick. And they have to have some human error in there as well. If they make a major mistake, it might be nice for them to come out, talk to the media, and say, you know what, I botched that one.
Well, remember when the guy blew Galarraga's perfect game? Yeah. I appreciated him coming out after the umpire and saying, you know what, I screwed up. I'm only human. I made a mistake. Would you want the chance to interview a ref, though, after the game?
Again, I agree with Scott. I hate agreeing with Scott all the time. But, I mean, the refs are seen and not heard. I mean, that's when they're best, right? When you don't see them and so much. And they can be under such ridicule or, criticism after a game. You look at game one, that 19 seconds left. I mean, the way he did the pirouette on the blue line and stayed on side. I mean, if you watched it closely. You know, it looked like he was offside, but then the linesman made the right call. So let him go off, and the same thing, if there's something overt, you know, maybe they can have a chance to come back.
We've
but-
all got biases too, and I mean,
Yeah.
we're cheering hard for our team, and that influences our decision, what we think's a penalty. A bite to the finger by the opposing guy is obviously a penalty, but if our guy does it, it's great.
It's good hockey,
So,
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to play Brian Kern's favorite game coming up next. Who am I? So I don't know who's going to rise to the challenge in his absence, but we will find out. Stay tuned. That's coming up next on The Gloves Are Off.